Hi, and welcome to my presentation. I am so excited that you are here and that you are going to hear about my presentation on how you can travel to 5 different countries where you can teach English abroad, even without any experience. I'm so passionate about this topic because teaching English abroad has given me so many opportunities to travel and also to meet people from all over the world. And today I'm going to share that with you. So before I begin, I would like to make an introduction of myself. So my name is Charmaine, and I am currently located in Toronto, Canada. I am the creator of the Canadian Wonder blog, and my Instagram is the Canadian Wonder. My mission is to help you to travel cheaper, longer, and happier by providing you with budget tips and resources. I also like to tell people about different opportunities they can embark on so that they can move abroad and do an experience that they will remember forever. So although I am in Toronto right now and I've returned home, I actually did spend 6 years living abroad prior to coming home. When I was in university, I went to study abroad in Singapore for a semester, and I traveled across Southeast Asia. Then when I graduated, I taught English in France and Hong Kong. And I slowly became obsessed with finding new opportunities to travel more, because I started realizing that not a lot of people know how to go overseas or how to embark these unique experiences. And the more I found, the more excited I was. I was like, oh my God, I wish someone told me this. And that is how I decided to start sharing these resources. That is why I decided to start my blog. That's the reason why I talk to people on Instagram every day. And this is the reason why I am also here. It is because I want to let you know that there is a lot of resources out there. And of course, they might not be so easy to be found until you put in the work and to do the research. But being here today, by being here at this summit, you are taking the next step. So why should you teach abroad? So number one, I think teaching abroad is amazing because it gives you an opportunity to travel for longer. When you are there, you get an opportunity to live in a city for longer. You get to go to nearby countries. You get to go to nearby cities, and you get to see different lifestyle. You get to see a different type of lifestyle. You get an opportunity to spend less time than, if you're flying from America every single trip that you want to go to. If you want to go to Europe, you only have that 2-week or 3-week vacation. So if you live closer, or if you have more holidays, like if you're working in school, then that gives you an opportunity to travel for longer. Another thing is you get to experience a new culture. When you go travel, you only get to see from a traveler lens. You only get to see that country or that city for a very short time. And you don't actually get to experience what it is really like to live there or what the locals are like. But if you are teaching and working there, you get to work with these people and you get to see what, like for me, I think one of them was like to see what the educational system was like. How does it differ from how I grew up? And that was a really eye-opening experience for me. And the third thing is get paid and have fun. So, I don't know about you, but when I started traveling, I didn't have much money. I was a fresh grad and I just wanted to have an opportunity to travel. And I didn't know how to do that, but I thought teaching abroad would give me that opportunity. Not only would I get a salary, but I will have an opportunity to take that salary and, use it to experience the world, to see the country, to see nearby countries. And also because I was living closer, flights were a lot cheaper, and that allowed me to stretch my dollar further. So without further ado, I am so excited to present to you 5 different programs in 5 different countries where you can teach abroad. So I'm going to start with some programs, some language assistance programs in Europe where you can go there with a work visa and teach there as well as experience the country. So the first program I'm going to tell you about is called the TAPIT program. The TAPE program is called the Teaching Assistant Program in France. And it gives you an opportunity to work in France for 7 months teaching English to French students of all ages. The great thing about this program is that you do not have to be a native English speaker. And in fact, this program also recruits speakers from other parts of the world. That means if they probably speak English in that part of the world, like India, for example, or even if they spoke German or Spanish or Mandarin Chinese. And when I was there, I was pretty amazed because I was able to meet other people from different countries who were also doing a similar program. And for example, when I worked there, in the secondary school that I was working at, I also had a Spanish and German assistant, and then I was the English assistant. So even there, you're able to meet other people who are in a similar situation as you. Now, I personally worked in the suburb of Paris, and I want to do that because I want to travel around Europe, and I want to live in a bigger city where, there's the airport and trains available, because I grew up in a big city. But you know what? There are other locations as well. You can work in one of the regions of metropolitan France, but you can also work in the overseas departments of France, such as French Guiana, Guadeloupe, Martinique, and Reunion. I probably didn't get the pronunciation perfect for this, but if you're looking for a different lifestyle and not, living in metropolitan France where the hustle and bustle, or, in the middle of Europe, you kind of want to go live the island life and relax while you're doing this job, this is the opportunity to do it. And the reason why I say that is because this program is, one, government funded, and two, they'll provide you the work visa and that you need, so you can spend a longer time living there and experiencing life. Now, onto the qualifications for this program. They do have an age limit, so it's between 20 to 35 years old. Your education, you have to be enrolled in university and have to complete at least 2 years of university studies or be a recent graduate within 2 years. So I actually spent a year in Quebec, which is a French part of Canada, after I graduated. And then I did that. I did this program the year after. So I was still within the 2 years. The third thing they require is a proficiency in French, a minimum of B1, so that's intermediate level. Personally, they have I've read the website, and they are quite strict about this right now, but there are different ways you can prove it. So if you've taken a few French courses, you can ask a professor for it, or if you just have some kind of proficiency but not in the formal way, you can also take a French test. For me, my proficiency wasn't that great at that time, but I was living in Quebec, like I said, and then I was working with a French professor, and he was able to write me a reference letter that allowed me to go in. Personally, I would say that they might have been tougher than it was back then because it was less competitive, I think. But having that language skills is important. And because I didn't have it, I did find it really difficult living in Paris. Without that language skills, I was struggling. But at the same time, if I had to really think about it, it also helped me to improve a lot faster because I was forced in that situation of using that language every day. So moving on to the second program is the NELCAP program. I know this is a really popular program for Americans, so maybe you've heard of it before. So the NELCAP program is the North American Language and Culture Assistance Program, and this allows American college students and graduates to work in elementary and secondary schools in Spain as language assistants. So again, it's a government-funded program, just like TAPE, that really gives young people an opportunity to live in a different country for a longer period of time. Now, the placements. Placements are offered across Spain in practically every city and town in the country, and you will be living there from October 1st to May 31st. So that is the contract time. So again, another 7-8 months for you to, explore the country, explore Europe, travel, and to really get to know what the working life is like in a different country. Qualifications. So I am so amazed with the age because you can be anywhere from 18 to 60. So really, there's a lot of time for you to decide if you wish to do this later on in your life. You have to be the nationality has to be U.S. citizen and have a valid passport and have a native level of English. I made this presentation specifically for Americans, but I think there is probably a little bit of more leeway if you start searching to see if they would accept other English-speaking countries. The third thing is the education. So a bachelor's degree, or you're currently enrolled as a sophomore, junior, or senior in a bachelor's, have an associate degree, or be a community college student in the last semester. Now, those are the two biggest language assistant programs I think that I've heard of in all these years. And I think just why I recommend them is because they're easy to get in. The language assistant program, and these are government programs that also really wants to get you not only exposed to a different country and let you live there, but also give their students the opportunity to be exposed to a different culture. So it's really a win-win situation. Now I'm going to talk about different countries in Asia that will also allow you to teach English abroad. So the third program I'm going to talk about is the EPIC program. And the EPIC program is English program in Korea. And this is to help Korean students to improve their English speaking abilities, to foster cultural exchange, and to reform English teaching methodologies in Korea. And if you're interested in going to Korea, EPIC provides teaching opportunities in all metropolitan cities and provinces in Korea. This is a really popular program because the funding is amazing. I believe they also provide accommodations for you, a really good salary as well, and again, it's government funded. So the qualifications, you have to be a citizen of a country where English is the primary language. So a little bit more strict than the previous two. Hold a minimum of a bachelor's degree, be mentally and physically healthy, have a good command of English language, and have the ability to adapt to Korean culture and life. The next one I'm going to talk about is the JET program. And the JET program is run with the Japanese Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And basically, they recruit assistant language teachers to provide language instructions in elementary, junior, and senior high school. Again, this is a really popular program because this is government funded and is very, very, the salary is very good. So it's well funded with flight tickets, accommodation. So it is a great program to start your career with, especially if you want to, earn some money and live in a different country. So the locations you can be placed are within local government organizations throughout Japan, in every city, basically, large cities, small and medium-sized towns, and rural farming and fishing villages as well. So I would say some of these programs, the experience can vary depending on what city you're living in. And I think that's something to keep in mind. That yes, you can go to Korea, you can go to Japan, you can go to France, you can go to Spain. But depending on where you live, depending on what city it is, that experience can be completely different from one person to another. So what are the qualifications for the JET program? So you have to be a U.S. citizen, complete a bachelor's degree by the end of June 3rd, have a native level English speaking proficiency, and you have not lived in Japan for a total of 6 years or longer in a 10-year period prior to the departure year. Again, I'm just going to give you a brief overview of some of these programs. But if you think you're interested in this country, let's say Japan or Korea or France or Spain, I would encourage you to look further. 100%, I would say EPIC and JET are really, really popular and some of the most well-known because of how well the packages, like that teaching package, for somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience or is not a professionally trained teacher. So they are more competitive. But like I said, even if you don't have a lot of experience and you just want to get your foot in, you just want to test it, you want to see what teaching is like, teaching language assistant programs are perfect. And that program can be the one that I mentioned in France, which is TAPIF, or NELCAP, which is the one in Spain. Okay, and then the last one I want to recommend is Chatterus. Chatterus is a program in Hong Kong, is an educational charity in Hong Kong that places a team of over 60 English tutors full-time to work in primary, secondary, and post-secondary schools. Chatterus partners with 33 schools across Hong Kong in 3 different school levels. So primary, secondary, or the post-secondary level. I personally chose to go with Chatterus when I went to Hong Kong was because I want to work with post-secondary students. And those are really difficult to get in usually. Not a lot of programs will let you work in post-secondary schools. But if you're interested in working with adults, if you're interested in working with an older crowd like that, I think this is a great program. The one great thing that I really appreciated about Chatterus is their support. They were so supportive. When I went there, the first 2 weeks we had training so that we were placed in a hostel with everybody else. There's a lot of assistants, like up to 60. And then they also taught us how to find accommodation. So like even like what do you say to the real estate agent? How do you negotiate a contract? And I think I didn't mention it here, but basically this program allows you to live in Hong Kong for 9 months. So that was great as well. It's a little bit longer than some of the other programs. I think JET and EPIC are 1 year, so those are longer. But like the other 2 language assistants, the first 2 I mentioned, they're only 7 to 9 months. So this Chatterus is 9 months. So a really great opportunity for you to get to know Hong Kong a little bit more and to travel in Asia if that is what you're interested in. And the qualifications is you need a bachelor's degree, you need native level English proficiency or similar high level of English. So you can see you don't have to be a native. You just have to have a similar level of English. And I know Chatterus has been more open to recruiting people from different countries as well, as long as they have a really good level of English. So if you're not American, if you don't come from a native English-speaking country, know that Chatterus is an option for you, just so you can get your foot in the door in the education sector and to get to travel and experience Hong Kong. The third thing is you need a passion for supporting children and teenagers, and you need to be creative, initiative, and motivation to learn. I just also want to put a note that if you decide to apply, that they do have a referral box. So if you did decide that you want to apply and then see later if this is the right program for you after the interviews, then yeah, just please put in my name, Charmaine, in the chat and in that referral box. Now, as I end my presentation, I just want to invite you to connect with me. If you have any questions, you can send me a message. You can follow me on my blog, thecanadianwonder.com, or my Instagram, thecanadianwonder, and my email, Charmaine@thecanadianwonder.com.